Welcome back. In this video, I'm continuing daily Leetcode question, and for today, that's 2053 kth distinct string in an array. Okay, let's begin. So, a distinct string is a string that is present only once in an array. Okay, given an array of strings R and an integer k, return the kth distinct string present in R. If there are fewer than k distinct strings, return an empty string. Okay, note that the strings are considered in the order in which they appear in the array. We have input B, D, B, C, B, C. Okay, so this is repeated. So we have D and A, and we are searching for the kth distinct. So K is 2, that's B. Let's say, okay, okay, one first, this is first. Okay, so there are three, the other two, B first, okay, let's go this up. So there are two approaches. We can do like brute force approach. That would be n squared, but space complexity is off, and or we can do like time optimized. That would be O of n, and space also of n. So we have to decide what we're gonna trade off. So, but first let me do brute force. So brute force would be, so we select like each element, each index, and we look from that index to the right and to the left if that element is repeated, and if it is, then we just move on. If it's not, then we reduce this number. So if it's distinct, both from the left side and from the right side, and when we arrive at kth distinct, then we just return it, or if we don't find one, then we return empty string. So okay, let's do it like this. Length is length of array. So what do we do for I in range length? And for j in range length. So we need to keep track if this is distinct or not. We can have distinct flag, and that's equal to true for each I. We also need to keep track of how many are left. Let's use kth, so we don't do anything to an input. So for j in range, okay. So what do we do? If a is equal to j, I is equal to j, we just continue because we don't want same element, same index to make a difference. If it's not, if array of I is equal to array of j, then we need to like make it false, and we can break out of this loop. Okay, so now we have track if element is not distinct, if we see it left or right of it. Okay, and if it's not, then nothing. And if we pass everything from left and from the right, and we have when we haven't found that element, then we reduce k. But first, so if distinct flag distinct flag is true, then we can reduce k by 1 if k is equal to 0, then we return array of I. So we found it. And is that it? Yeah, we just return here the string. So yeah, this should be okay. Yeah, should be okay. Let's try it out. Okay. And yeah, it's accepted. So this one is space optimized. As we can see, space is only of 1 because we have just three variables that are not of size of input or something. And for the time complexity, we have two for loops, so it's of n squared. Okay. Let me do bit optimized approach for the time complexity. So this approach would be to have a hash map of essentially a counter of what we've counter of elements of array, and then we let me do like this. Hash map is, I'll call it up so it will make sense. Counter of array. I also think for maybe this would also work, but let me do, so k is equal to k. Let's do the way it will work 100%. So for element in array, if hash map of element is equal to 1, k minus equal 1. If k is equal to 0, then we return element. Okay, and if this is what, we mess this up. So if we haven't found it, then we return empty. Let's try to run it. Okay, submit. And yeah, it doesn't seem a lot better. Missions. Oh yeah, runtime is a lot better, but memory is almost the same. So yeah, here we have a hash map that's all fan. In the worst case, and we have all fan for time complexity for this loop. But let me also try something like this so we don't loop. And often is also counter. Maybe I could also do something like this. So for element in hash map, if hash map of hash map of element is equal to 1, Then we reduce k by 1, and if k is equal to 0, we return. This should also work, and it should even be a bit better. Because hashmap should be ordered, and yeah, okay. And I think it is better a bit. Submissions, yes, 67. Yeah. So this would be a bit more optimized because we are not going size of, we are not repeating non-distinct strings from an array, so we get faster to the k distinct element. So yeah, this is again O(n) and O(n) for the time complexity and O(n) for the space complexity. Okay, I hope it made sense. Thank you for following in this one, and see you in the next one.